During the apartheid era, white rulers of South Africa denied basic rights and dignity to native Africans and colored people. When the apartheid regime ended in South Africa, the whites and the native South Africans sat together and discussed the future of the nation. Lots of efforts were made in the direction of reconciliation, but there were concerns on both sides. The whites and the non-whites wanted to safeguard their own interests. The native Africans wanted to ensure that the democratic principle of majority rule was not compromised. They wanted to get substantial social and economic rights that they were denied for decades. On the other hand, the whites wanted to safeguard their property and privileges. The oppressor and the oppressed were planning to live together. This was a complicated situation. They both had their reservations. After many debates and deliberations for 2 long years, both the parties agreed upon a compromise. The whites agreed upon the rule of one person, one vote, and also on the principle of majority rule. They also duly agreed to accept some basic rights for the workers and the poor. On the other hand, the native Africans agreed that the majority rule would not be absolute. Also, the native African majorities would not take away the properties of the white minorities. It was not an easy path to take. Start their journey by framing a constitution. Do you know when the practice of written constitutions began? It was right after the Americans won their war of independence against Great Britain. The independent Americans gave themselves a constitution. After the revolution, the French people approved a democratic constitution. Since then, it has become a practice for most democracies to have a written constitution. In fact, some non-democratic nations have also felt the need to have constitutions. That shows how useful this document is. In a democracy, the Constitution keeps a check on the excessive power of any person or the government. It is the supreme law of the land. This is very important. Why? Well, almost all countries have diverse groups of people. Diversity leads to difference in opinion and interests of each stakeholder. In such cases, it is important to protect dissenters and rights of minority groups in the nation. The Constitution, or a basic rule book, is necessary for smaller organizations as well. Any association, irrespective of its size, needs to have a set of basic rules. Be it a political party, a government, a local club, or a cooperative society, everybody needs a constitution. But is it enough to have a rule book? No. All people need to accept basic rules and respect them. Otherwise, it is difficult to run an organization or a nation. Successful constitutions are accepted by a large majority of people living in a country. Ideally, all citizens of a nation need to accept the contents of the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It determines the nature of the relationship, not just between the citizens, but also between the people and the government. The Constitution of the country performs many functions. Firstly, it builds a degree of trust and ensures coordination. This is important when diverse people are present in a nation. They will be able to live together in harmony when they can be sure that their identity and needs are respected by all people. Secondly, it clearly lays down the details about the formation of the government. For example, the government has to have support of the majority of the Legislative Assembly members. If this condition is not met, the Chief Minister's cabinet can't stay in office. In addition to this, it specifies who can take which decision. For example, the Constitution says that the Chief Minister has to choose his cabinet ministers. Thirdly, it clearly states the rights of the citizens of the country. For example, the Indian Constitution provides the citizens the freedom to follow a religion of their choice. Lastly, it expresses the aspirations of the people for creating a good society. Look at our own Constitution. It says that no individual should be discriminated against on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. Things mostly spiral out of control in nations which do not have a constitution. You could argue that this happens in a nation which has a constitution as well. But this usually happens in a place where it has not been respected or has been changed. Having a constitution provides an opportunity for the people to restore it. This provides a chance for a country to correct its mistakes. That summarizes the importance of the Constitution for every nation.
If you like this video and want to watch many more amazing videos like these, like and subscribe to our channel now.